Anti-Second Amendment efforts are growing across the state. The San Diego gun owners PAC and NOTME SD, a women's firearms program, say that those efforts will result in more women becoming victims of violent crimes. Here now to discuss further is Desi Bergman, the program director at NOTME SD. Good morning, Desiree.
Good morning, Jason. Thanks
nice
for having me today.
Nice to have you on the show. Yes. Tell us about NOTME SD for starters.
Of course. So NOTME SD is a program that was created for women, by women, and we help women that come to us for help looking for purchasing a firearm for the first time. We help them find training, and we also help them get a California Concealed Weapons Permit or a CCW.
So but they don't necessarily have to get a CCW. This is just some place women can go to learn about firearms, safety, and shooting.
That's correct. And a lot of the women that come to us are victims of domestic violence or sexual assault. So Jason, I don't know if you know this, but 91% of domestic violence victims are women. Mm-hmm. 1 in 3 women will be a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault in her lifetime. And in 8 out of 10 situations, that woman knew the person who was abusing her.
And we also are looking at, we talk about domestic violence calls and things like that. We have a police officer shortage. And they do the greatest job with the resources that they have. We need more officers, but in the meantime, people want to be able to step up and protect themselves.
That's true. And Jason, last week, the Voice of San Diego actually released an article on how the San Diego police response times were up dramatically. The San Diego police response time, Jason, right now for an active domestic violence call is 50 minutes. That's 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. A lot can happen in 5 minutes, let alone 50 minutes. Now, let alone, I have full respect for law enforcement, but it's the sad reality that we can't count on them to save us anymore. So having the skills and knowledge to defend ourselves could be the difference between life and death. You know,
up until 7-8 months ago, you had to have a reason to carry. I'm a federal judge, or I'm whatever, I'm a celebrity, whatever it is. And then the Supreme Court handed down this decision on a federal level saying, no, you can carry, right? So now we have all of these CCW applications. These are people who have background checks, who go through firearms training, who pass a test on the range, and every single deputy, sheriff's deputy, or police officer I've talked to, how do you feel about all these CCWs being out there? They say, you know what? Good guys with guns, no problem. We never have problems with CCWs.
So, Jason, CCW holders are shown to commit less crimes than police officers and less crimes than the general public. It just makes sense that if the crime is being committed against you, wouldn't you want the ability to defend yourself?
Yes. And the fact is, the state of California has made it hard already. And we could go into the guns that are off the roster that you can't buy in California. Ammunition is so expensive.
It's crazy expensive.
It's crazy expensive. And the people who want all the guns to go away actually have armed security details.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So what's also crazy is statistics have shown that between 1 million and 3 million times per year, a firearm is used to either stop or prevent a violent crime.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So we want to turn news stories about victims into news stories about people defending themselves.
And what do you think the odds are of this legislation passing? Because if it could be superseded by a federal decision.
It could be, but honestly, I think that this is going to go through this time, and we saw this try to happen last year. But I think the way they changed things is actually going to pass this time. And what's crazy about the Senate bill that's with the legislation right now is it's going to ban legal gun owners from being able to carry a concealed weapon in almost every public place in the state. So that means that if I need to defend myself, and it might not be an option anymore, and that to me is scary.
Yeah, and there are places that right now you can't carry.
Correct.
Federal installations.
Government buildings.
Petco Park, any bar.
Right.
Or nightclub, you can't do it. So there are restrictions in place. They just want to really tighten the screw.
They really want to restrict it so that way you can't carry anywhere. And with the police response times being as high as they are right now, I mean, you can make a phone call and they're not going to show up for 40, 50 minutes, right? And again, a lot can happen in 5 minutes. And I'm sorry, but if someone's going to try to commit bodily harm against me, I want to be able to defend myself, because at that point, it's my life or theirs. And I choose my life every time.
Yeah. I think everybody wants to have that opportunity to defend themselves.
I would agree.
Naturally. Okay, how can women in our audience find out more about what you do and get in touch with you?
Of course. So if any woman out there wants help either purchasing a firearm for the first time, they're looking for training, or they're looking to get their California Concealed Weapons Permit, just go to notmesd.org and we're happy to help. You'll fill out a couple quick questions. That way we can sign you up with an ambassador. Ambassadors are my volunteers that will reach out to them and assist them through every step of the program. So we want to make sure that information is not something that they don't have to get their CCW or to get that training. And another thing, Jason, that we haven't talked about is this program is completely free. So it doesn't cost anybody or any woman anything to find out more about firearms and to help them with their firearms journey.
Okay, notmesd.org.
Correct.
That easy. All right,
Just that
Desi
easy.
Bergman, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me today.
Important conversation.